Hi, I'm Greg Uland with Reynolds, and this is Connected, live at the NADA show in Las Vegas. Right now I get to sit down with the legendary Jim Ziegler and his wife and business partner, Debbie. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Oh, what a thrill.
No, it's great. It's great. So we're at the show. Right now it's actually Friday morning, so we're just getting started. What have you seen so far that gets you excited?
Oh my gosh, more dealers than I've ever seen. This is my 30th convention.
Yep.
Our 30th convention.
Right.
That's right.
I have spoke at 17 conventions, attended 30. We haven't been in 10 years.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, since 2014.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome back. It's great to see you wandering the floor.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. The energy is it's amazing this year.
I want to stop by. This is early for us. The Reynolds and Reynolds, our friends with Reynolds and Reynolds, would have stopped by and visit with you guys.
No, it's great. So Jim, you're definitely an expert on the F&I process, right, and selling in the office. Mm-hmm. So wanted to get your take. One of the things that I find really interesting is I guess let me take a step back. You go back to like 2020, right, 4 years ago, and if you would have asked a room full of people, what's the car buying process going to look like in 2024, 2025? Some significant portion of them would have said, well, I mean, so many car deals are going to be done all online. Right, and then we fast forward, and it's like, well, that's not really the case. But there is this blended model, right? There's the online to in-store.
Everybody thought that we were going to go to total transactional model online.
Right.
It didn't happen. You know, a certain amount of people will buy online, but the majority of people still transact at the dealership.
Right.
You know, there's a minority. People point to Tesla. They say, well, Tesla is selling 100% online, but still in all, that's an early adopter niche market, and that's even fading out.
Sure.
So what we found out is customers will fill out the paperwork.
Right.
They'll give some information, but the financial information and the total transactional information, they still want to come into the dealership. They're still uncomfortable with selecting a car totally online.
Yes.
Now there will be those people that'll do that. Well, I deal with what the majority of people will do, not what some of the people will do.
You know, thinking about that consumer who's online, they're in store, they're both, right? At the end of the day, it's a blended buyer. What are some of the best practices? So there's some dealers out there that like to present F&I products online, at least give them a first pass, right? To be able to see them.
Okay, I'm not a favor of that.
Okay.
What we found out is that presenting the products online, everybody thought that videos are going to sell service contracts.
Sure.
People don't watch the videos.
Yeah.
They don't care about the videos. And they didn't, in reality, and we've tracked the stats, they don't watch the videos. So as far as selling the products online, generally a consumer that is overwhelmed will say no.
Sure, that's fair.
You know, and Zig Ziglar, who I'm no relation to, but I knew him quite well, Zig Ziglar said a confused customer buys nothing.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's a good quote.
The less confusion you create, the more chance you have to sell.
Yeah, and when you ask consumers too, I mean, we've done a lot of studies and surveys with consumers recently, and one of the most valuable interactions that they have when we surveyed them, so go through the sales process. Where do you see value? What would you pay more for? And one of the most valuable was the interaction with the F&I manager, because they want to be educated. They don't understand these products, right? So there's value in the products, which is why they get sold and why consumers buy them.
There's a lot of value in the products. I am a big advocate. The whole world has gone video. The whole world's talking on FaceTime. The
Sure.
whole world is talking on social media. I make a living right now with video.
Right.
So why not have a built into the websites and built into the first visit some opportunity for the customer to interact with a live person, an F&I manager, to do what they expected the videos to do, a Zoom type broadcast.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. So are you seeing dealers move to that model where it is a FaceTime call or a Zoom call or whatever it might be, and what does that interaction look like? Are they selling in that instance, or are they building a relationship? What does that interaction look like, that first pass?
Well, a lot of that's coming out of the BDCs.
Okay.
We're a lot more FaceTime, a lot of Zoom type broadcast, and a lot of that's coming about. That's still in the development. That's not mainstream yet.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. That makes sense. So, what are some of the hurdles that maybe you've seen dealers having to overcome when it comes to, a consumer sees a monthly payment online, right? They've kind of structured out their deal, and then they come into the store, and it's not the same system, so the payment's not the same. Maybe they're going to add some aftermarkets. Obviously, the payment's going to go up. Maybe that aftermarket's taxable. Maybe it's not, depending on the state. So there's a lot of variables, right?
Well, I'm an advocate of give the customer all the information.
Yeah.
Give the information, and I don't have any problem selling the F&I products and F&I services after the fact.
Transparency. Be
Yeah.
transparent. That's what
Totally
I'm-
transparent. Absolutely.
No, that's good. So just making sure to be transparent. So you mentioned you had your hand there on your new book. So I wanted to touch base on that. Talk about that book a little bit. How, I guess, what's that process been like? Maybe start there for me, because I'm always interested in anybody who invests the time and energy into writing a book, right, and publishing a book. That you see the finished product, and you don't realize that's. You tell me, but that's probably 2 years worth of work right there, right? And,
No, it wasn't quite that much, because it's 30 years of work.
well,
This book has evolved.
sure.
I've rewritten it 14 or 15 times over the years. As the industry changed, as processes change, as I've had to reverse many, many times. Paradigm shift. So when I wrote the Sales Managers Forum, it's on Amazon. When I wrote the Sales Manager Forum, I wanted to rewrite the book one more time.
Sure.
And modernize it. And dealers are buying these by the case.
Yeah. No, that's great. So
A lot of sales.
What are some of the things you mentioned that, it's obviously evolved over time, and what you've been teaching has evolved over time. What are some of the things that you had to look at to modernize in this one? Maybe pull out just a couple where, it was one of those things where you're reading it, I'm sure, and you go, this probably doesn't really apply anymore. We should update this section. What were a
Old
couple
school,
of those?
new school, I don't care. I've been in the business 49 years.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of changes. A lot of the changes are in the book.
Yeah. Anything stand out to you? Any that were, kind of, this one really I gotta adjust.
Digital marketing, which didn't really happen, and A to Z sales.
Okay.
A lot of dealers are trying to get into the salesperson does the entire process.
Right.
I've covered that in the book.
Okay.
So no matter how you sell cars, the one price movement, that's a lot of people in the business today.
Right.
So that's covered. It doesn't really matter how you sell cars as long as you're consistent.
That's a good point. So give me the high level pros and cons of that A to Z sales process, right? So the salesperson handles the entire deal, soup to nuts, start to finish. Give me kind of a couple positives, couple negatives.
The negatives.
Yeah.
First of all, every dealer's got 5-car Fred, 5-car Frederica. You've got that underperformer or medium average performer that's always going to be that way. They're never going to be a top performer. I don't want them presenting the whole deal. Everybody's not a super performer. No dealership has a whole sales force full of super performers.
Yeah, you're right.
I was a super performer, but I knew a lot of people that were not.
Sure.
And A to Z, I've trained some of the A to Z companies.
Yeah.
They've flown down to Atlanta and paid the full fee. I'm expensive.
Yeah.
So
Can you have both in the same store? Can you have a poor or average performing salesperson who has a partner in the F&I office, and have another salesperson who's a superstar do the whole deal? Like, could you do
the
both?
A to Z process still has managers ghosting in the background supervising the sale.
Yeah.
So it's not really A to Z.
Yeah.
There's still managers that they call them coaches or some new age crappy line.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, really appreciate you sitting down. We kind of grabbed you when you popped by the booth. It's
Miss
great to
Debbie
see you.
and I are having a ball at the
We
convention.
are.
No, that's great. That's great. So before we hop off, Jim, Debbie, what didn't we touch on? Anything else you guys want to talk about that we
No, I
haven't
think
touched on?
Yeah,
No, I think-
I'm a big friend of Reynolds, and Reynolds have been.
Sure. No, and we appreciate the partnership. Absolutely, we do, and appreciate the support. At the end of the day, we're kind of all in this together, right?
Oh,
This is one
absolutely.
industry, and we're trying to help the dealers who are the linchpin right? Be successful. And
You've got a product called DocuPad.
yes,
And I'm going to tell you right now, I have been an advocate of DocuPad for years.
So have I.
Long before I ever met anybody in the company.
yeah.
And yeah, it's probably one of the best F&I tools in the business.
Well, thank you. That means a lot coming from you, certainly. And we're proud of it, but we see a lot of dealers have a lot of success as well. So appreciate you saying that. But all right, well, thank you both for joining. It was great to talk, and I hope you have a great show.
ZieglerSuperSystems.com.